It is interesting how things started playing out, especially when we look at what's taking place within the recent election, which led to the Trump presidency coming on the scene. And it seems as if things are looking for the better. At last, it seems now that the American people have won. It seems now that once again order is going to be restored on the land. It seems as if now is the time to start rejoicing. It almost seems as if, and I quote, many people said this, many Christians, they say, at last, America has been given a second chance by God. America has been given a second chance to make things right with God. That God is blessing America yet again. However, we are in the last days. What's going on? Are we heading into a utopia? Are things looking better? Are things going to look good? This is not a doomsday message. It's a message of preparation. I'm going to introduce to you a term which I'm going to call the Donald Trump pendulum effect. Make careful note. Nothing, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, and you will continue hearing me say this over and over again consistently until the day that I die. Nothing happens by mistake. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is carefully orchestrated to play out exactly how it's meant to play. I can now look in front of the camera. I can tell you all with confidence, Donald Trump's presidency is no accident. I can tell you this with full confidence now, that you're going to have to subscribe to this channel, because I'm following up. There's a lot of things that I'm going to be exposing. You just subscribe to this channel. What I need you to understand is this. We all know the Jesuits pulled the strings behind Freemasons and the Illuminati. The Jesuits are the ones that pretty much rule. The Jesuits, their loyalty belongs to the Pope, the papacy. The papacy is the supreme leader that everybody looks up to. The world leaders look to the papacy. And the papacy, his authority was received from who? From the devil himself. The throne of the papacy is where the devil himself dwells. Make careful note. The powers that be, these secret societies, the elite of society, they know that if their end goal is to have the pendulum on this side of the political spectrum, first what they must do is, through the means of a Hegelian dialectic, cause that pendulum to keep moving and shift in the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Eventually, when a pendulum gets to the end of the spectrum, what happens? That same pendulum begins to swing all the way, and it doesn't stop in the middle. The pendulum keeps on swinging, and it goes all the way till it gets to the complete opposite end. What am I trying to illustrate here? Pay attention. We've got this spectrum, this political spectrum. Make note, these elite of society, the powers that be, they know in order to control this pendulum effect of the political spectrum, you must have agents on this side and in the middle and on the complete opposite end. Everything is controlled. We've been witnessing things like riots. We've been witnessing movements that have been all basically contributing to this this pendulum. This pendulum from one end beginning to move. Before I get too carried away, I've mentioned that there have been riots, there have been protests, there have been movements. These are all things which are contributing to the shifting of this pendulum. And the interesting thing is, they were funded. These movements were funded. The majority of them, including, yes, Black Lives Matter, they were funded. George Soros is responsible for funding a lot of these movements. Most of these people who basically are on the same page with the elite of society, they who are the elite of society, they know that in order to be able to have this pendulum keep shifting in the direction and eventually start pushing it in the complete opposite end, they must control the entire spectrum. Have agents here, and have them here, and have them here. Things are shifting to the alt-right position. But many people don't know or don't realize that what they are simply participating in is a game called the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. These are all events, these are all things which are participating in shifting the pendulum. Thus far, we are seeing the pendulum shift all the way to the alt-right, shifting all the way back to conservatism, or to the conservative end of the spectrum. Things are shifting in favor of Christianity. All of a sudden, Donald Trump is completely making the move that's pushing things back and moving America back to being a Christian nation. Here's what I'm proposing. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. What we are going to see is a lot of Christians are going to start intermingling themselves, and because things are heading towards a more conservative, towards the conservative side of the spectrum, the more Christian or the more religious side, many Christians are not going to see anything wrong with this conservative ideology, with this with this Christian ideology being intermingled with state politics. Many people are not seeing anything wrong with that. And so because now that they see Donald Trump as being the one who is bringing America back to how it's supposed to be, America is now coming back to being brought back to a Christian nation, and it's being like the values of Christianity are being restored, and we're seeing this and we're seeing that. Now that we're seeing all of these, Christians are going to start aligning themselves there. But little do they know that they are actually participating in something that is known as the image of the beast being fashioned. Little do they know that they are being actually a part of this image that is being erected. You understand? You are seeing a lamb-like character that is being displayed. That it's almost like the characteristics of the lamb are. It's almost as if America is trying to bring back the characteristics of the lamb. But no matter what, it may appear lamb-like, but its mouth is going to speak as a dragon. A government speaks through its legislative laws. If it's going to speak like a dragon, that means through its legislative laws, it is going to act as if it were the dragon himself, the devil. Expect division to come amongst Christians. Expect Christianity to be divided. There's coming a time where the majority of Christians that align themselves with state politics, the majority of Christians which align themselves in that, you're going to start seeing a very few, only a remnant, is going to break away and is going to point that out and say, you people are falling for a grand deception. It's going to be only a remnant, only a few. When I say there's only going to be a few, there is going to be only a few. And the few are going to point out the majority, and they are going to point them out and say, that is wrong. What you are participating in is something that is leading to something much more dangerous. But the majority of Christians are going to basically, through they are going to influence, that's a keynote, they're going to influence the government in enacting laws that will oppose those that oppose them, or that oppose things which go basically that them who oppose state politics or state policies, or things which basically are not in favor of the majority, they are going to be persecuted. Expect a movement to a one world religion. Expect a movement that is going to lead to a nationwide national Sunday law. You've heard me say it before, I will say it again. In fact, again, just subscribe to this channel. Trust me, what is transpiring right now, what the papacy has said, what Pope Francis has said, what Donald Trump is doing, what Donald Trump's advisors are advising him, the things which we are seeing, the reflection from a biblical standpoint, from a prophetic standpoint, and from a historical standpoint, everything fits the description of what's about to take place. Subscribe to this channel. I promise you, I promise you, there are things that are taking place. You are going to be shocked. You're going to be mind blown. That's all I'm just going to say. I am more confident than ever that to say that Donald Trump's win as president, it is no accident. And if you think that Donald Trump is actually against the Pope, or is against the system, and the system is against him, you have bought into the game of Hegelian dialectic. You are a part of this game on this spectrum, and not pendulum that is being controlled by the elite and the powers that be. You are simply participating in the game without acknowledging that you are a part of it. You are a part of the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Controversy 7. If this is your first time tuning in, be sure to subscribe. There's a lot of information coming across your way. I urge you to subscribe. There's a lot of information coming across your way. I'm going to be working extra hard on this so I can get the information out there. I don't know how much time I have. I don't know how much time we don't know how much time we have, but I'm going to be spending a lot of time working extra hard, bringing this information for you guys out there, so it will be worth your while. And I'm going to tell you this, okay? As a full disclosure. So there's no hard feelings at the end of the day. I am not here to win your vote. I am not here to make you like me. If you don't like me, it's okay, I don't care. The truth that I'm going to tell you is going to disturb many of you. You're not going to like me. But I can care less if you dislike me, as long as I did my part by sharing the message out there for you, by putting the information out there for you. Because we are heading into a state where all of us must be prepared. Anything can go, anything can happen. That's all I'm going to say. You take care of yourselves, be safe, and I will see you guys next time.